Vicharai Yadam Matmana Sthiyata. With your eyes closed, Adhapara Brahmatmana Sthiyata. Thereafter remain in the state of Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi state. But we have to cross certain obstacles and hurdles by withdrawing our identifications. First is the Vishaya Prapancham, withdraw your identification, your expectation. Then the body, withdraw your identification, your expectations. Then the prana, withdraw your identification. In another way, see them as tools, like a carpenter using his tool, or a driver driving a car. So, pranamaya kosha, annamaya kosha. Then we have the manomaya kosha. So from there the real problems start. So we have seen the unconscious or emotions, impulses rule the manomaya kosha. What they call the impulses arising from the brain stem and emotions arising from the amygdala, the center of the brain. And most of the time we remain in that mind level. And the whole mind is not known to us at this point. The drives and appetites of the unconscious, Sushma Shariram. And we have seen the unconscious is formed during the childhood, from the womb onwards. Up to the age of 12, when you become self-conscious, you start asking questions, critiquing, have a agency of your own, and when you are 12. But these 12 years, formative years, play a big role in your future life. Unbeknown to us, the mind plays a big role. As Patanjali says, when the unconscious project biases, prejudices, fears, anxieties, you can bring an opposite thought, pratipaksha bhavanam. Or you can go into the basement of the mind and bring the light of awareness and clean up the basement of the mind, or which is unconscious. And there are certain habits which are formed in childhood, you have to live with them. difficult to erase them. And the Viveka, Vairagya will help you. This is called the shadow personality. Like Hanuman was pulled by his shadow while he was flying to Lanka. And you cannot fight with the shadow. The more you fight, the shadow gains power, like Vali. So you have to go around it, engage in a conversation with your shadow personality. The Hanuman did. So for a meditator, it's very important that he confront this shadow personality, the unconscious drives and impulses and pressures. If you suppress them, then they express in a perverted way. If you express them, it may affect your relationship with the world. So neither expression nor suppression, but recognition. In every culture there are certain rites and rituals to tame this. Or to organize, regulate your developmental life. Like samskara kriyas, Vedic chanting, certain rituals like prostrating to the deity, to the gurus, to the elders. Or filling your brain, inscribing your brain with positive words, ideas. So in the Siddha meditation, we will be confronting when the mind is calm superficially, these demons which are populating our unconscious will raise their ugly head. So when these unconscious impulses manifest, let them manifest in the seat of meditation. When you are out of the seat of meditation, that can be translated into actions and words and body language. So the physical body and the physiological body, where you experience hunger and thirst, the basic survival instinct. Then the emotional body. And however saintly you look, superficially you are a saint, but there is a hidden sinner in you. That sinner is to be understood and managed. So that sinner is not expressing in words, actions and body language. Which is the meaning of Chichanam, education. To tame the beast in you, so that you can ride the beast. The mind heavily influences your instincts, your emotions, and your traumas, your unattended child in you influences your experience of the world, your likes and dislikes, your aspirations, your need for recognition, appreciation, your low self-esteem. And this persona of yours has to be observed and detached. Viveka Vairagyam. This is not me. I am the Satchidananda Purusha. With that attitude, you observe your mind. So the shame and guilt that you feel because of identification can be more or less overcome. The shame, the guilt, the anger. So this is a major milestone in the pilgrim's path, the mind. The idea that you are not what you seem to be, what you present to the outside world. You are more than what you present yourself to the outside world. So, become aware. All this meditation is becoming aware. Mindfulness, becoming mindful. Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranadoshyam Jindunam Narajanmadulabhamadah Pumstum Tado Viprata Tasmad Vaidika Dharma Marga Bharata Vidutvam Asmat Param Atmanatma Vivejanam Sanubhavo Brahmatmana Samsthidihi Muktirno Shatakodi Janma Sugrude Punyir Vina Lebhyade Dullabham Trayame Vedad Devanugraha Hetugam Manushyattvam Mumukshutvam Mahapurusha Samshrayaha Ko Nama Bentha Kadhamesha Gadaha Katham Pradishtasya Katham Vimokshaha Ko Savanatma Paramaka Atma Tayor Viveka Kathameta Duchyadam Brahmanandara Sanubhudi Kalidai Pudai Sushidai Sidai Yushmad Vakkala Shojhidai Sudisugai Vakyamradai Sejaya Tak Sandaptam Bhavata Badavadahana Jwala Birenam Prabho Dhanyaste Bhavadikshana Kshanagade Patri Krida Svikrida So these 4 or 5 slokas are very important. You can learn it by heart, memorizing. So the last one defines your relation with your teacher, your guru. We have seen that's a lasting or transforming relationship. The rest are all temporary relationships. Now we are in the kosha business. Koshas, various koshas. Kosha means a sheath. As the Atman is in this sheath, 7 sheaths, like a sword is put in a sheath, you can unleash it or you can put it in the sheath. Similarly, Atman is lost in these sheaths, identifying with them. So you identify with what you see, not with the seer. Because seer cannot be seen, that's the problem. So seer cannot be seen, only the seen can be seen. So by nature, Naisargigoyam Loka Vyavahara. By nature, we identify what is Puradaha, what is in front of you. So you miss yourself in the person and get lost. In the Drishya Prapancham, we get lost. So there are various levels of losing ourselves. One is the physical body, other is the Pranamaya Kosha, and the third is the Manomaya Kosha. So let's read this. Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syad Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syad Kosho mamahamiti vastu vikalpa heduhu Sapnyadi veda kalana kalido baliyan Tatpurva kosha manupurya vijrimbhadeyaha Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syad Kosho mamahamiti vastu vikalpa heduhu Sapnyadi veda kalana kalido baliyan Tatpurvakoshamanuburya vijrumbhadeyaha. This is your autobiography. This is your biography or autobiography, whatever you say. Generally, when we write our story, we write about outside things. So the inner journey, like Gandhi's autobiography, or St. Augustine's autobiography, or Rousseau's autobiography. They all talk about what is happening inside as they interact with the world. When you interact with the world, what happens inside you? Maybe with your spouse, your children, your job, your all kind of things. The inside journey is very painful. Nobody will dare to say the truth. Even Gandhi did not say the truth. He only said some pleasurable truth, harmless truth. That itself was shocking, some of the revelations he made. So what exactly are you going through inside you as you grow up with your parents? How did you relate with your uncles, with your in-laws, your aunts, your neighbors, your teacher? What's going on in the inner theatre? That hardly anyone writes and says, because not that pleasant. That will not be revealed. But in the meditation you can reflect on all this, so that you can be relatively free. So what is the mind? Jnanendriyanischa manascha manomayasya. Manomaya kosha. So manomaya kosha is a combination of jnanendriyani. Jnanendriya, sense of organs of perception. Eyes, ears, nose, touch, etc. Those 5 windows into the world. The Atman sees through these windows into the world. So that jnanendriyani and mind. So karmendriya goes with the pranamaya kosha. Prana activates the karmendriya. Jnanendriya goes with the mind. So jnanendriyani cha manascha manomayasa, and the mind. Mind is basically the seat of emotion. Impulses, emotions, instinct. That's the mind. Sankalpa, Vikalpa. Sankalpa and Vikalpa, imagination, doubt and confusions. Mind is never settled unless buddhi interferes. The mind will always doubting, confused, thinking this way, that way. So jnanendriyani manascha manomaya syad. That's the manomaya. The modern language, the limbic system and the 5 organs of perception. Limbic system somewhere in the middle of the brain. That controls your emotions. So limbic system, amygdala and all that. So jnanendriyani manascha manomaya syad. And even the jnanendriyani, their faculties inside the brain, not outside. Outside is on the golagas that you see. So jnanendriyani manascha manomaya syad. Koshaha, this become a kosha. Kosha means a sheath for you, or a garment for you, or a ring around you, let's say. So jnanendriyani manascha manomaya syat koshaha mama aham idi vastu vikalpahed. From here onwards, it is this mind which makes you feel body is mine, prana is mine, I am the body, I am the prana. It is the mind which does that. So he says, mama aham idi vastu vikalpahedahu. The seat of this vikalpa, this doubt and confusion starts with the mind. The mind gains a certain agency there. So, koshaha mama ahamidi vastu vikalpam. Vastu means the truth, untruth. You are not able to distinguish between them. Vastu vikalpa hetu. Always doubting. Then the mind is full of sabnyadi bheda kalana kalido baliyan. The mind is full of sabnya, words. words and forms, let's say. So about the world, you have the world is full of form, rubas. The tree, the house and children and animals and all that, rupa, form. And then every rupa, the mind produces form also, there is a form. So nama, rupa, prapancham. So you see the world in terms of names and forms. That is what strikes you about the world. And you create, with the names and form, you create your own stories. You can write a lot of story with this. You can cut and paste and then rearrange things. And the story is not produced. So, like Mahabharata story, all words. Ramayana story, words. Or Bhagavatam, words. So these words, they create their own images, their own emotion. So it's a world of words, you say. And children also, as they grow up, they ask this question, ye kya hai, what is this, what is that? And you have to give the names. This is an apple, this is an orange, this is pencil, this is pen, this is your mother, this is your father. Isn't it? So there's words. So sometimes you call your father uncle because everybody is calling him uncle. That's what you know. So your world is made up of these words that you have heard from your parents, from your neighbors, and the brain is scripted like that, or inscripted with these words and the images. And so sometimes you see a person, you recognize his face, but you don't remember his name. Sometimes you remember the name, but you don't recognize the face. So this way, the mind is nothing but words and form. Nama Rupam is it. Sapnyadibheda Kalana. Kalana means defined by these words. Kalidaha, built, defined and built. Beliyan. Beliyan means very powerfully. It creates a powerful impact on you. So what words you hear play a big role in the formation of your personality. Suppose in childhood you heard, parents sometimes use all dirty words. You are a donkey, you are a monkey, you will never improve in life. Sometimes they say out of anger. We use this kind of negative words. When you say you are a donkey, the child feels maybe it's true. Your son is a donkey. Maybe it's true. So this way, these words define your growth, or your brain develops like that. So you have to be very careful what words you use to the children, what images that you show to the children. That's why the social media, this time children all, guns and battles and then. So their personality also become like that. So whatever you feed the child in terms of words and images, and his emotional personality is defined by that. And your stories, the narratives come out of that. So Sajnadi Veda Kalana Kalido Beliyan. So what you expose to the child in terms of words and forms, that is very, very important. You should be very choosy and selective, because the child doesn't have the viveka to distinguish what is good and what is bad, because initial personality is formed like that. You have to give a good foundation for the children by employing the right word and the right form, exposing the child to positive things, so that he has got a firm foundation. Thereafter, doesn't matter. Once up to 12 years, the child should be, or 14 years, the child should be under your supervision, your presence, your control or supervision. Otherwise, the child develops a distorted personality. Child means you. We all are, there is a child in you, all of us. That child was not under your control. The environment, family, relationship, what happened in the family. All of them, suddenly the grandmother died, the child is only 3-year-old, or the father died, mother died. This all affect the child's growth. So Sajnadi Veda Kalana Kalido Biliyan. The problem is, the words may not truly represent the object. What I call the information. Information, words are information, isn't it? Words represent a fact, supposedly. So the words that we hear may not truly represent the reality, the fact. Because it's all mixed with the prejudices and biases and all that. He is a bad person. Your neighbor is bad. Don't go there. Sometimes we tell children, isn't it? Your neighbor is a rascal, don't go there. And the child will go to their neighbor and say, my mother says you are a rascal. Possible. But slowly the child recognizes, no, that is not the way to behave in the world. I have to restrain. Sometimes you don't learn that. So this way, the word, since it doesn't truly represent, information doesn't truly represent the fact, because the one who observes that, he or she brings her own biases and prejudices, and then he observes that, then he communicates that. So there were a lot of miscommunication, disinformation, misinformation is going around, and the social media is full of that misinformation. Mahatma Gandhi dancing with the young lady in the bar. My God, where did you get it? You got it from Gandhi's picture and the young lady. You mix them together and then put it on the social media, and people believe it because I saw it. With my own eyes saw that, isn't it? Mahatma Gandhi dancing in the bar. I saw it with my own eyes, the social media. Once upon a time, we used to believe newspapers. Whatever is written in the newspaper, we believe, isn't it? These days, we don't. We take everything with a pinch of salt, you say. And these days, you have to take with a bag of salt, not just a pinch, isn't it? So it's very difficult to distinguish between, because words don't truly communicate the fact. But there is no other way of communication. So in between, a lot of problems arise. Haven't you heard that story? That lady vomited 2 buffaloes. 2 buffaloes. Then, did you really see that? Were you there at that time? No, I was not there. My friend told me. 2 buffaloes. Let me ask your friend. Then I go to the friend. He will not come. I don't go. Did you see that? How many buffalo the lady vomited? Oh, it was not 2, it was only 1 buffalo. So 2 become 1. Then really 1 buffalo, who told you? Did you see that? I didn't see. Somebody told me. Okay, go and see that. I asked him, what? It was not a buffalo, it was a crow. Did you see that? I didn't see. This man told me. Okay, let me go and see that. Did you see that? It was not a crow. It was only something black in the vomit. Black, something in the vomit became a crow, it became a 1 buffalo, 2 buffalo, and if it goes further, it will become an elephant also. Isn't it? This way, words, though we depend upon words for communication, words doesn't have the power to represent the truth fully. So we have to be, that's why in Vedanta we say, even Satchidanandam is not revealing the truth. It is only indicating something. Lakshanartham, not Vachyartham. So not Visheshanartham, Lakshanartham. It only indicates. So you should take with a pinch of salt the words that you hear. Whoever says that, whoever says. So somebody says, I hate you. Apparently he says, I hate you. But what he means is, I love you so much. I love you so much. Don't you say sometimes, I hate you. Meaning, I love you so much. That's the meaning. And sometimes you say, I love you. What does it mean? I want you to leave me. That's what he means. So these words may not communicate. So our mind is full of words, misinformation, disinformation, and half information. Then the mind starts imagining. You fill the gap. So this way, the world that you see is interfered with the words and image. When I see an apple, I don't see the real apple. I see only the superficial apple. When I see you, I see your body. Nothing more than that, unless you speak. Even when you speak, you don't truly represent yourself. All nice words. Something else is going on inside you. Is it not the truth? So he says, Satnyadi Bheda Kalana Kalido Baliyan. This mind is just words. Vakkaram Panam Vikaro Namadayam in Chandogya Upanishad. This world is nothing but words and images. And Satnyadi Bheda Kalana Kalido Baliyan Tat Purva Kosham Anubhurya Vijrimbadayaga. So the mind feels the Pranamayam, he says. Meaning it is subtler and deeper than the Pranamaya Kosha. Anubhurya, Purva Kosha. Purva Kosha is the Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha is subtler than the Annamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha fills the Annamaya Kosha. And Manomaya Kosha fills the Pranamaya Kosha. I mean, it is subtler and different from that. Vijrimbadayaha. Continuing. Panchendriye panchabire vahodribi prachiyamano vishayajya dharaya jajvalyamano bahuvasanendanaihi Manomayogni Dahati Prapancham Panchendriye Panchabire Vahodribihi Prachiyamano Bahuvasanendanai Manomayogni Dahati Prapancham. Once again. Panchendriye panchabire bahodribihi prajiyamano vishayajya dharaya jajvalyamano behuvasanendanaihi manomayogni dahati prapancham. The metaphor of a fire worship. You do fire worship, You build a fire and twigs are brought in and fire is built, and then you offer things into the fire. Invoke certain gods, Indra Idannama, Agane Idannama, like that. So you build the fire and offer ghee, clarified butter, and maybe cow dung cakes, or maybe twigs you offer into the fire. So supposedly it goes to various gods, and the gods will bless you. That exchange between gods and you, the Yachamana, is called fire worship. And this is one of the most ancient form of worshipping the deities in India and in Iran and all over the world. They used to worship fire. Fire was the greatest discovery also. Fire, wheel and the zero, these are the three greatest original discoveries. Fire discovery. You take two stone and then rub it and the spark comes, then you catch it in a piece of cotton or dry leaf, and then slowly you build the fire. There was a time when you used to have a fire, homakund, in the middle of the house, everywhere, in all houses. So that's called Garhapatyagni. There are permanent fires there because there was no matches at that time. When you want to cook, if there is no match, you cannot take two stone and rub and create sparks. So therefore there is a permanent fire at home. That fire is called Garhapati Agni. That's permanently burning in you. Then when you want to do a ritual, then Avahini Agni. You take another Homakunda, there you do all the rituals. Not the main fire. That is there. Instead, like a matchbox. That's completely there. And there is another, some special rituals, you got another. They call Dakshinagni or Anmoharya Pachana, another kind of fire. So in any home you used to have 3 Homakundas where you do the ritual. So here he says the whole life is a ritual. How is that? Panchendriyehi panchabhireva hodribihi. There are 5 hodas here in this ritual, 5 hodas. In ordinary ritual there will be 4 hodas, 1 hoda, 1 adharyu, 1 Brahman and 1 Udgada. These 4 priests and their assistant. It can be 14 priests. The Udgada sing the chant the mantra. Hoda offer. Adharyu collect the material. So Hoda says bring that, Adharyu will bring. And Hoda knows what mantra is to be chanted. And Udgada knows what mantra to be chanted. And Brahman is the presiding deity. Brahman sits there, he doesn't say anything. In a Yajnashala, there will be a Brahman, there will be a Yajamana, there will be these priests, Rituks. Brahman doesn't say anything, he will just sit there. But he gives the Anumati. When things have to be started, Brahman will say, oh, you can start. I said, oh, that's it. He should not shout, come here, do this. No shouting. No shouting. Oh. When it is something wrong, he will say, oh, stop it. It's all understood. Like the crows communicating each other. Kra kra. Means there two more crows are there. Cree cree, something, they make these noises. And there is tremendous communication going on. Or elephants communicate. Bees communicating. Ants communicate. It's not only human beings who communicate. They have their own way of communicating, you say. So the Brahman who is supervising the whole thing, he will give his command by the modulating the Om. Like Chinese language, ma, ma, ma. These are different meanings there. So here the 5 priests are there, Rituks. Who are the 5 priests? Panchendriya. These 5 sense organs are the 5 priests. They are gathering information from the world. So Panchendriyehi Panchabhihi eva hodribihi prajiyamanaha vishayajyadariya. And what are they offering into the fire? What are they offering into the fire? The fire is the mind. Fire is the mind. Because desire, aspirations, the mind. So it's the mental fire. The 5 sense organs are offering sense objects. That's why Vishayajya Dharaya. Vishaya is the Ajya. What are the 5 sense objects? Smell, touch, taste, sight and sound. That's being constantly. Now yajna is going on now. Because these words through your ears has poured into the mind, and the mind is blazing up. You are thinking, you are thinking, you are tinkering, and what's the meaning of this? So mind is blazing up. So Panchendriye Panchabhireva Hodribihi Prajiyamanaha Vishayajya Dharaya Jajjulyamano Bahu Vasana Indanaihi. And the ghee is poured, and indana means tips or piece of the wood or coconut shell. What is that? Bahu vasana indane. Your vasana, your inbuilt impressions and tendencies. So the world comes into you, and through the vasana you respond, and in the process the mind is blazing up. Huge fire. mental fire. Jajvalyamano bahuvasanindhanaihi manomaya agnihi. Mind is the agni, the fire. Manomaya agnihi dahadit prapancham. It illumines the whole world like that. So you are doing a yajna now. No other separate yajna is necessary, you say. This is a yajna. Eating is a yajna. Eating is a yajna. Listening is a yajna. Or putting oil on the body is a yajna. You are rubbing the oil into the body, isn't it? That also is a yajna. So eating, tasting, hearing, seeing, rubbing oil onto the body, all these are yajnas. And the manomayagni prajvalati, the fire of the mind is ablaze now. Yes. Ablaze, and then the whole world is alive for you now. So this yajna is going on. And the fire in the mind is nothing but a reflection of the consciousness, Brahman's reflection in the mind. That's the fire, the manomaya. And the mind is full of vasanas, and then it blazes. So everything can be experienced as a yajna. Teaching is a yajna, learning is a yajna, or doing business can be a yajna, why not? Politics can be a yajna. Politics can be a yajna. You have to interpret it in this way, he says. Politics can be a yajna. Business can be, everything can be. So, let's read that. Panchendriyai panchavireva hodrubihi prajiyamano vishayajya dharaya jajvalyamano bahuvasanendhanaihi manomayogni jagadit prapancham. The whole prapancha, the whole world is blazing up. The fire is the mind. He is the Vishaya. And the tricks are the Vasana. And the mind is, so the yajna is going on. Continuing. Nahyasya vidya manasodirikta manohya vidya bhavabandha heduhu tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam vijrumbhidesmin sagalam vijrumbhade nakhyasya vidya manasodirikta manohya vidya bhavabandha heduhu tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam vijrumbhidesmin sagalam vijrumbhade. So if you consider living is a yajna, what you pour into the mind through the sense organ, you will be careful. Because in a yajna, you have to use pure ghee, isn't it? And you medyam, you will offer only medyam, which is appropriate, not amedyam, which is inappropriate. So if you consider this is a yajna, then you will see only the right thing. Hear only the right, touch only the right, smell only the right. Vidhi nishedas come there. Vidhi nishedas. So life becomes little more secret, little more pure with this attitude. That is the yajna I am doing. So nahi asti avidya manasodirikta. So avidya, ignorance starts from the mind onwards, not in the pranamaya or annamaya. The seat of ignorance is in the mind. So nahyastya vidya manasodirikta. The seat of ignorance, avidya, manasaha adirikta nasti. It is not away from the mind, it is the mind. Mind is the site where avidya operates, or tamas function. Avidya. Nahyasya vidya manasodirikta manohya vidya. Therefore Shankara says mind itself is avidya, ignorance. Bhavabandha heduhu, which is the cause of bandham, bondage, misery. Tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam. So here Shankara proposes a very radical idea that since mind is the seat of ignorance, destroy the mind. Tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam. And when you take a holiday from the mind, sometimes you say that, take a holiday from the mind. Go beyond the mind. Or calm down the mind. That's the meaning of vinashtam there. You calm down the mind. You organize your emotions. Passion should become compassion. You're passionate about something. Make it a compassion. That's another way of organizing that, you see. So, tasmin vinashte, mano nasham. That's an interesting concept in Indian. Mano nasham, ending the mind. Mind can create time also because there is expectation, frustration. When you expect something, there is time. When you don't expect, there is no time. When you expect somebody to come, you are waiting, he has not come, you are looking into the watch. Time goes like a turtle. When you don't expect anybody, there is no psychological time, you see. So this mind is an interesting monkey. How you tame it, how you make it serve your purpose, one has to look into that. So he says, Manohya vidya bhavabandha heduhu. So ignorance, tamas operates on the level of the mind. Tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam. So how do we organize or discipline or observe, put the mind in its place? Tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam. Vijanumbhadesmin sagalam vijanumbhade. So sagala means your entire experience of the world, good and bad, all depends upon the mind. When the mind is there, the world is there. Mind is not there, world is not there. Including your children, grandchildren, property and everything. So mind projects the world. This is a controversial statement, that mind projects the world. When mind is there, there is the world. When mind is not there, there is no world. Think of that. That's a very interesting statement. Now, here is this building. Can you say this is the projection of your mind? Or is the building exists by itself? Mind may be getting a picture of the building. Mind represents the building, it doesn't present the building. This is one way. Mind doesn't present or create the building. Or another way you can say mind created the building. First you thought of a building, then you got the contract or the architect, then you had a model of the building, then you acquired money and then you commissioned people, then you built the building, isn't it? So where was this building? 50 years ago. It was in somebody's mind. Somebody one morning thought, let me have a building. Then he stayed with that, tabas. So tapo tapyada satabas taptva idagam sarvam asrijata. So you can look at this building or the whole universe in many ways. Some people say the universe is not the individual creation, it is a samashti creation, Ishvara Srishti. This is Ishvara Srishti. Some people say it is Jiva Srishti. We leave it at that. I don't want to adjudicate on that dispute. It can be Jiva Srishti or Ishvara Srishti. Some people say it is you create this building. One way it is true because we all together built the building, isn't it? And when you look at the building, the looking doesn't create the building. I look at, suddenly the building comes up. That's not the way. Building is there. So some way there is an Ishvara Srishti. Then on top of that a Jiva Srishti. For example, when I look at the building, it's my building, isn't it? When you look at the building, it is somebody's building. So you don't care. You don't care as much as Kunyalishmi cares or somebody else cares, isn't it? Because it is her building. But you don't care. But it's your house, you do care. So you attribute a value, personal value to the building. That also is possible. Or this is my child. That's my neighbor's child. Your relationship is totally different. The way you look at them is totally different. So there are 2-3 ideas contending for mental space. One is the Ishvara Srishti. Second is the collective human Srishti. For example, a car is not Ishvara created the car. You and I created the car. That's building. You and I created the building. And then when our relationship with the building is different according to our attitude to the building. But here is a very provocative statement. Manohya vidya bhavabandha hedu. Avidya is the cause of the whole universe. Avidya, ignorance. And that is seated in the mind. Therefore, mind creates the world. When mind is there, there is world. Mind is not there, there is no world. For you reflect on that. I don't want to take any particular position on that. So, tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam. When the mind ends, then there is no world. Vijrimbhade asmin. When the mind manifests, there is the world. And he gives some example for that. Why? Let's read it once again. Nakhyastya vidya manaso derikta manohya vidya bhavabandha heduhu tasmin vinashte sagalam vinashtam vijrimbhadesmin sagalam vijrimbhade. So in experiencing the world, nama, rupa, name and form comes, emotions come, collective effort comes. It's a very complex phenomena. And we talk about 3 orders of reality. Pradibhasigam, Vyavaharigam and Paramarthya. 3 orders of reality. Paramarthya means what is actually there, the truth. Vyavaharigam means how you encounter, how you measure the truth. Here is an ocean and you take a vessel and bring some water from the ocean. So similarly, here is this reality and then you use your sense organs and collect some information, perception, and then your mind processes them and you create a experience out of it or a knowledge out of it. So the data at your command is very limited. You don't have all the data. With that limited data, you are creating a reality for yourself. So that's what the mind does. And sometimes we discuss together, like a scientific community, peer review and critiquing each other. So we may create a public reality. For example, this table is a public reality. You and I see that. But my thought about the chair is a private reality. So there is a private, pradibhasigam, public, vyavaharigam, and the actual truth, which nobody has access to. Nobody has access. It is only a anuman, it's an inference there. There is something real which impact on me, and then it creates certain vrittis in me, depending upon my vasanas, my desires, etc. And based upon that, take decisions. Most of our decisions are taken with insufficient data. We don't have all the data. It is a leap into the darkness actually. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. We don't have all the data. So that way, we use this mind and create a world for ourselves. So why do you say when the mind is there, there is world, when mind is not there, there is no world? Example here. Sushupti kale manasi praline. Isn't that? Okay. Swapnertha shunye srijati svashaktya bhoktradi vishwam mana eva sarvam तदैव जाग्रत्यभिनो विशेषः तत्सर्वमेतत् मनसो विजृम्भणम् स्वप्नेऽर्थशून्ये सृजति स्वशक्त्या भोक्त्रादिविश्वं मन एव सर्वं तदैव जाग्रत्यभिनो विशेषः तत्सर्वमेतत् मनसो विजृम्भणम्. Swapne means in dream. He is explaining why mind creates the world. When mind is there, there is the world. When mind is active, vijrumbhane, there is the world. When the mind is not active, there is no world. Some logical explanation is given. Swapne arthashunye. Swapna means dream. In dream, there is no artham, there is no objective factual reality. A dream doesn't indicate anything outside. It's your private world. So, Swapne, Arthashunye, whatever vrittis arise in the Swapna doesn't indicate any Artha outside. No Vishaya in Swapna. Swapne Arthashunye, Srijati Svashaktya, the mind creates its own world. Bhoktradi Vishwam Mana Eva Sarvam. So, mind creates a world, mind creates a new identity. It's all modes of mind in Swapna, in dream. So, mind is active, then the dream world. Mind is passive, the dream world goes. Similarly, he says, Tadaiva Jagratya Vino Vishesha. Similarly, in the waking world also. You have to see Vijrumbhanam. It is activity of the mind. You create a waking world. So, we don't find much difference between Swapna and Jagrata. Both are limited, both is changing, and in their own way they are real. You can wake up with a cold sweat from dream. It's so real, so real. A tiger chasing you, it's so real. So, dream and the waking is almost the same, you say. Tadaiva Jagratya Vino Visheshaha Tassarvamedat Manasaha Vijrumbhanam. They are all activity, projection of the mind. At least the world that I see, or the world which I experience, that is my own creation, you say. And you can go. Your suffering is your own creation. Really there is no suffering. So, Tadeva Jagratya Vino Vishesha Tassavamedat Manaso Vijrumbhanam. And some example is given now. Sushupti Kale Manasi Praline Naivasti Kinchit Sagala Prasiddhe Ado Manah Kalpida Eva Pumsaha Samsara Tasya Navastudo Asti. So, in dream you are a dreamer, you are the dream world, your dream experiences, good and bad. When you wake up, the dreamer, the dream world, dream experiences all disappear. Isn't it? So, there is just the mind vibrating because of the vasanas, memories, that's the mind. And when you wake up, you feel foolish. I gave so much reality in the dream world. When you wake up, it's all gone. Similarly, the waking world. Waking world, you have house and car and job and all kind of things. Well fed, well dressed. But when you go dream world, no car, no house, you are a beggar crawling on the road, waiting for somebody to throw a leaf. That is so real at that time. This is so real at this time. This is so real at this time. So, what is the real? There is a big question. A king dreams that he has become a butterfly. Then the king wakes up from there. Now he is more a butterfly. Then the king has got a doubt. Am I really the butterfly or the king? So he calls his minister. Just a few minutes ago I was a butterfly running away from a crow or a lizard. Now I am the king, everybody is running away from me. Isn't it? Which is the truth? At that time it was so real. Now this seems to be real. The minister said, Sir, Maharaj, that you are a butterfly was a dream, was only a dream. That you are a king is a reality. Then the king scratches his head and says, how do you know? Maybe the butterfly is dreaming that I become a king, must be possible. Isn't it? Maybe the butterfly is dreaming. Who knows? Who knows the truth? Nobody knows the truth. Butterfly is dreaming, it has become a king, and the king dreams, it has become a beggar. Beggar is dreaming, it has become a prime minister. This way. The world is tumbling along, moving along. So, Sushupti Kale Manasi Praline. When in deep sleep, Manasi Praline, mind is absolutely calm and quiet. It's in a pause mode. Mind is on a pause mode. It's absolutely calm. Naivasti Kinjis Sagalapra. Then nothing is experienced. When mind is dormant, nothing is experienced. That's not true. That's not true. It's true. You don't know anything. Tadaha. So, Sushupti Kale Manasi Praline Naivasti Kinchid Sagala Prasiddhe. Ataha Manakalpida eva Pumsaha Samsaraha. The entire material world that you experience is only a projection, is activity of the mind. When the mind is calm, it's not there. Think about that. I'm not saying that this statement represents the absolute truth, but there is a lot of meaning in what is being said. Ado manakkalpida eva pumsaha samsaraha. So the world that you see and the suffering that you experience is all the projection of the mind. So go beyond the mind. That's what is being said here. Ado manakkalpida eva pumsaha samsaraha, samsara dukkham, edasya na vastuda asti. In fact, there is no world of samsara. It is an atrocious statement, isn't it? There is no world other than the mind. The world does not exist. Now you will say mind also doesn't exist. First of all, I have to convince you the world doesn't exist. Everything is in the mind. Then I have to convince you the mind doesn't exist. Slowly, I am dragging you to the infinite consciousness. World doesn't exist. Mind doesn't exist. Ego doesn't exist. What exists is me, aham. That's all what exists. So, Sushupti Kale Manasi Praline Naivasti Kinjis Sagala Prasiddhe. Everybody knows that in deep sleep I don't experience the world. Ado Manakkalpida eva pumsaha samsara yadasya na vastuda asti. Even the gods that you conceive, Indra, Rudra, Varuna, Maruda, or the mantras that you have learned, the ideas that you have created, everything goes into oblivion when you go to deep sleep. Nothing is remembered. Nothing is seen. So that experience is a significant experience for us. Very significant experience. What happened to this world when I go to deep sleep? I don't experience that. But I am there, but I don't experience that. So that's a significant information data for analyzing the meaning of life, we say. So, ado manakkalpida eva pumsaha samsaraha edasya na vastuda asti. In reality, it doesn't exist. So, reflect on that. Reflect on this statement. Does the world really exist? Why there is a world? That's another question. Why there is something rather than nothing? This is the big question asked by philosophers now. Why there is something rather than nothing? Is there any reason? There seems to be no reason. The question is that why there is something rather than nothing. The only question is that why should it not? There can be something rather than nothing. Nothing cannot exist, isn't it? Nothing cannot exist. So this kind of something, nothing, or nothing, or the spiritual people, philosophers are struggling with this concept. Why there is something other than nothing? Why not there is something? Is something or nothing or nothing? What is it exactly? So you say, I am bored with the life, ask this question. Then you will lose even your sleep. You will not be bored with life. Something to chew for us, something very fundamental. And continuing, Vayuna niyade mekhaha punasdenaiva liyade manasa kalpyade bandaha mokshasdenaiva kalpyade. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali said you have to meditate upon Swapna and Sushupti. Meditate on that. Meditate on that experience. Make a data, collect data from that. Information from that. Patanjali is not saying you should sleep. Meditate upon the sleep experience. What happens then? What happened to the world? What happened to the mind? What happened to your memories, knowledge, relationship? Name, fame, everything in deep sleep. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. Then we wake up, mind projects that. Mind projects that. So what the assumption is, the whole universe collapses into that state of sleep. Then when you wake up, you project it again. You project it again. That's the idea conveyed there. The world is projected by you, withdrawn by you, as you sleep. Here you say, Vayuna niyade megaha punaha tenaiva liyade. Just as the air collects the clouds and condense it, press it into a condensed state. Vayuna niyade megha. Air brings the, wind brings the megha, and then punastena, then scatters also. Both is done by the wind. Similarly, the mind projects the world, put together a world, and the mind dissembles the world also. In deep sleep. In deep sleep, there is no world body. Okay? Accepted? Similarly, manasa kalpyade bandaha. Mind imagines bondage. Actually, there is no bondage for you. Mind imagines bondage. That I am suffering, I am this, I am that. And the same mind, mokshaha tenaiva kalpyade. The same mind has to realize its real, deep nature is Atman or consciousness. So mind is the cause of bondage. Manasa eva jnadavyam. Mind has to understand. Maneva manishyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind is the cause of your bondage, and mind will liberate you from bondage. So manasa kalpyade bandha mokshaha tenaiva kalpyade. So we tell us, so that I am bound is a notion. It's a notion. That I am liberated is another notion. But it is the truth. You are always liberated. You are never bound. Mind makes you feel you are bound. Then mind, after some time, mind may be tired of that. You say, okay, you are liberated. So mind says you are bound, mind says you are liberated. For some time, mind hijacks you. Thinking that you will get something, mind will get something. You have nothing to give. So mind finally says, release. Mind release. So this is the play of the mind. The story they give is, in an ashram, the brahmachari was to tie the cows in the pen. So he ties the cows. But one rope is missing, so he couldn't tie the last cow. So he comes to the Guruji, Guruji, what to do now? So Guruji says, do one thing. You don't have any rope, you do one thing. Pretend that you are tying the cow. So he pretended, like a Kathakali, He pretended that he is tying the cow, and then he comes back. Every now and then he will look whether the cow is there, because he knows he has not tied the cow. The cow is standing there. Early in the morning, he untie all the other cows. This cow, there is no rope around it. So he pushed the cow. The cow wouldn't go. It feels a tug in its neck. So he tried to push the cow, the cow feels the tug. Again he ran to the Guruji. Guruji's ultimate repository of knowledge, isn't it? So he goes to Guruji and he says, what should I do? Guruji says, pretend that you are untying the cow. So he went and pretended, and the cow moves along. Most our bondage is like that. It's our own assumption, self-inflicted assumption. I am suffering, I am bound, I am nobody. These are all self-induced. For no rhyme or reason. No rhyme. So mind makes you feel suffering. Mind will liberate you from. The mind is to be convinced somehow or other. That's what we are trying to do. So Vayuna niyade megaha punasteneva liyade manasa kalpyade bandaha mokshasteneva kalpyade. Okay, I think we should stop here. These are all very abstruse ideas. And we have to meditate with your eyes closed. So we have seen mind is nothing but name and form. So this is information stored in the brain about the apple, oranges, pencil, tree, stars, etc. And we are collashing, processing this name and form, which is called thinking, feeling, storytelling, using these symbols. So this information, this data that you collect may not represent the whole truth. And even collecting the data information, you have preferences, biases, prejudices, which is called the vasanas. So you get only a partial truth or fictitious truth. And you don't know what exactly is the real world. Even scientists don't know. They say it is all a field of possibilities, probabilities. It all depends upon how you look at that. So with this understanding, you assess your life's problems. Now you think you know your children, you know your spouse fully. You don't know. nor your spouse know who you are. So we are kind of blind people moving about in darkness, creating our own universes. Adhasya andheneva niyamana yadhantha. Those who create a better story, they win the world. More convincing, persuasive stories. Putting these words together, images together. These days it is all images, not even words. Those images may not represent the world fully or the truth fully. But that's enough for us to somehow or other survive. So going beyond the world of words, symbols, and experience the raw reality. That's what we are trying to do. And in that search, the I experience becomes very fundamental. With this I experience, you may not go to the moon or the Mars. But you become a whole and complete person. Think of that. You can send your body to the moon and can be brought back. But your consciousness encompasses the moon and the body. So here Shankara's final assessment is the mind is the world. When there is mind, there is world. When mind is dormant, the world also is dormant. When there is mind, there is suffering. When mind is dormant, suffering also absent. Mind creates a sense of bondage and freedom. So this mind is not just the chemistry of the amygdala or limbic system. It's something deeper. Because when you analyze the limbic system or the brain, you don't see the mind. You only see electric and chemical phenomena, no mind. Electricity and chemicals are not experience. So we should go beyond the vocabulary of the brain. It's something more than the brain. So for the time being, we accept this truism as expounded by Shankaracharya. Mind is equal to the world. Mind is the world. Mind is primary. World is secondary. Mind is not just the brain. Mind is something deeper, experientially deeper. Because brain can be objectified, not the pain that you undergo. The brain doesn't have the vividness that the mind has. So the conclusion is, mind projects the world. At least your phenomenal individual world. पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। हरिः ॐ।